we talk about stay in the fight, what it means to me is really, in my personal experience, and my personal journey has been dealing with guilt and shame. They have been really the cause of most of my challenges, and they've been the most difficult aspects of the condition to get over. So when it comes to staying in the fight, it's always, I have to remind myself and others that I did my best, and things didn't go the way I wanted them to go. People died, and I will always be sad about that, but to continue to beat myself up over it just means that I'm not my best self for who's here in the world with me today. And so I have to focus on the task at hand, focus on doing my best every day to be the best version of myself. And that's the best way to honor the sacrifice and the memory of people who are not here anymore.
When I talk about staying in the fight, how does that show up in my daily life? The struggles that once were so big and so daunting that you end up in the ER, you end up in the hospital, you go in, there's somebody else there kind of directing that process. And you find medications, you find treatment, things like that. Those are, somebody's kind of always fighting with you, somebody's kind of directing what your path is. For me, that mentality of kind of getting that breakthrough every day of my life, that's where staying in the fight really connects with me. And when I wake up in the morning, what is my first struggle? Is it, well, man, I really don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to have to think about how I physically feel, right? How do I, whether that's, I'm in pain from, an injury, or whether I'm in mental pain. And I find that you do that talk through, whether it's that reframing of the conversation, I don't have to get out of bed, I get to get out of bed. Finding those little blessings in that. And for me, that spiritual part of it, talking through, prayer to find that conversation piece, let go of some of those burdens, those demons, as it were, to not have to fight quite so hard, and then really hone in on that moment. What am I fighting against? Am I fighting against myself? Am I fighting against an individual problem, or is it just a mentality that I'm having in that moment? So it really starts with, how do I conduct my own thoughts, and think of that like kind of the battle planning, the what is the outline for every moment. And like any good plan, it falls apart almost immediately, but you get into that rhythm of that practice motion where it's right back to it every time you start to struggle. And that staying in that mentality of sharpening that skill, sharpening that the tool to actually come back to that thought, and instead of having that regurgitated moment in your head where, oh, my life sucks, my life's hard, I don't wake up next to somebody anymore because the relationships, I don't always get to see my son every day. Those moments are hard, but they get softer when I get to think softer, when I get to really frame my own perception of this. And that coming back to that, repetitive behavior, it gets exhausting. But then I get to take those other moments on the side, and recognize that it got easier. I don't want to get out of bed. Well, I get to get out of bed. Yeah, that's right. It gets a little faster every time. It gets a little smoother. Uh, the expectation that things are going to be great has kind of gone away. Not because I don't believe it's going to happen, but because I get to revel in the things that are real, that are right in front of me. And so, dealing with PTSD, dealing with physical pain, dealing with, relationship issues, body image stuff, all of those things become much faster. Uh, uh, I can overcome those much faster because I've stayed in it this long. I've, gotten help when I needed it. Started to ask for it when it's too much of a burden for myself. But it's that commitment, that authenticity, that integrity to myself and um, my own word and my own commitment that have really made that process an easy step. Um, Daily mantra.
I stay in the fight is by trying to stay in the day, trying to not let my mind get the best of me. Living with chronic pain is very challenging. My spine is shot between the 8 herniated discs, the plates, the screws, the degenerative disc disease, all these things. It can become overwhelming very quickly for me, and the future can look very dark. But also, it's important to have a future. Without a future, it's hard to have hope. So it's a balance. It's a balance that's difficult to find. It's a balance that changes every day. Every day is different for me. Every day is hard. Every day is very hard. But I get through it. I get through it because I have to. And I have to because I fought too hard to get to where I am. And if I were to give in, all of the fighting, all of the long nights, all the surgeries, all of the suffering would be for nothing. And more importantly, if I were to give up, not give up, if I were to let the dark thoughts get the best of me, the potential to help the next person, the next me, would be gone. Every day is different, but I have to stay in the fight. I have to stay in the fight because I don't know how beautiful the future might be. My life is starting to open up in a way I never imagined possible. In the best ways possible. I'm so grateful that I never used a permanent solution to a temporary issue. Chronic pain is so hard to deal with. It's so hard to live with. But I know that I can live with it. The ways that my life is starting to open up. Are beautiful. I have such good friends in my life today. Because I kept going. Because I keep going. My friends keep me going. That's the only way I stay in this fight, is by taking the day as it comes. By giving myself grace. What does grace look like in giving myself grace? It looks like telling myself it's okay that I didn't get all of the things done that I wanted to get done today or this weekend. It's okay that I stayed in bed instead of going to an event. I didn't let people down. It's giving myself grace when I'm so hard on myself. My mind is still 25, but my body is 80. And that disparity is such a difficult thing to live with. I can laugh today. Laughing doesn't happen a lot with chronic pain. It's hard to laugh. It's hard to smile. I never want to be the angry, chronic pain person. And I work hard every day just to keep that going. Just to stay in the fight. Every day is different. But the most important thing that I've learned is that I really don't know what my future holds. And the little taste of beauty that I've experienced makes it all worth it. I have to keep going. The things that I was sure weren't possible have become not only possible, but they're happening. There's such beauty left in the world. Living with chronic pain can be so dark, so lonely. But it can also be so beautiful and fulfilling. And I never thought that was possible. But I'm living it.
Staying in the fight. For me, it starts with taking my meds every day. I was always the person that didn't want to be on meds long term, but I've been on them at a pretty good dose for the last 5 years or so. And I know if I miss them, and it's never good if I do. So that's how my days start. Keeping to a routine really helps me to stay level, lets me know that I'm doing what I need to be doing, because I do things in a certain way at certain times. And a lot of times it's just little reminders too, like these bracelets, right? So stay in the fight is one that I wear, this nice blue one. This one says stay in the fight. This one says veteran strong, right? And when I'm talking to veterans and warriors return, that's what I tell them. It's like, life can be easy as pie. So sometimes I need to take my own medicine, but purpose, intent, and endurance, like what is it you're doing with your life? How are you doing it with a purpose every day? And what keeps you going when the days suck? So for me, it's remembering who I am, remembering why I'm here, and making the next right choice. So stay in the fight.